Good evening. Welcome to the September 2011 Canyon Country Advisory Committee meeting. I'd like to welcome you, and I'd also like to inform you about the Canyon Country Advisor. Please visit it. All links to all of our presentations are on there. I think that you'll have a very good experience. This meeting facility, I'd like to remind everybody that this meeting facility is provided to the Canyon Country Advisory Committee as a public service by Mint Canyon Moose Lodge and its members. And tonight, as you'll see in the agenda, we're going to be celebrating our one-year anniversary here, a test to all of the members and their devotion to public service. Tonight's meeting agenda will start out with the flag salute, announcements, approval of the minutes of the last meeting. Remember, we have a little bit of a change in process today. The minutes were shipped out with the meeting notice, and we'll just take additions or corrections. Then we'll have our one-year celebration of meeting here at the Mint Canyon Moose Lodge. And in this particular case, our board of directors voted this time for the first time to award a Santa Clarita Hometown Hero Award to an organization as opposed to an individual. Next, Sergeant Dan Stanley will talk about the new 5-deputy gang unit, and I'll fill in a little bit afterwards about the Public Safety Subcommittee meeting and also the city's anti-gang task force. Next, Lori Wilson will talk about Bowman High School. That's a place that certainly offers opportunities to young adults that may not be going to school the traditional way. And it's certainly the kind of situation where it helps them throughout the rest of their life. Lastly, we're going to talk about insurance services available for seniors. This happens to be National Insurance Month. So we have some individuals here. Minerva will introduce some of her cohorts, and they'll talk about some of the services that they have available. Lastly, Judy Tallur will talk about Canyon Country Kudos, and then we'll go into our version of public participation. Then an October meeting preview, and the meeting will be adjourned. All throughout this month, there are 9/11 celebrations going on, or 9/11 commemorative celebrations going on throughout Santa Clarita and throughout the country. This year, in the Santa Clarita 9/11 Memorial Committee hosted a memorial at the Veterans Memorial Park in Newhall. Our member, Linda Morgan, and her friend Carol, again this year participated in reading names of those who had lost their lives in that terrorist attack. It wasn't an accident, it was an attack. Next is remembering 9/11 every day. Usually for the last 9 or 10 years, I brought the flag that's flown over my house for the whole year. And we talked about it from the standpoint that I look at it every day, and as it becomes tattered and torn, it reminds me of the trials and tribulations of those men and women that put their lives on the line to keep us safe. This year, I had the privilege of being able to take those 10 flags and display them. And this display was at the competition down the street at the Elks Memorial. And if you'll notice, there's 10 flags, and there's also one marked for 2011. And that one's not there because it's flying over my house. Bob Keller well, we knew we'd get an applause sign someday. All right, Bob. Oh my God. Bob Keller, Route 66 on Saturday, September the 10th, and then again at the Elk Memorial on Sunday, September the 11th, read the names of the Santa Clarita Armed Forces members that had lost their lives in the service of our country since September 11, 2001. And I think Bob said it the best, so I'm going to let Bob say it to us again today.
Today we come together as we have now over the past 9 years. We are here to remember and reflect upon what occurred on September 11, 2001, and pack upon this country and its people the likes of which we have never seen before. The 2,819 Americans that died that Tuesday morning, of which 403 were police and fire personnel, shall forever be remembered in the minds and the hearts of all Americans. Appropriately, this nation answered back as it had been called upon before, with a vengeance our adversaries could not have imagined. They have learned firsthand what one nation under God really means. We are a nation united in protecting our freedoms and the rights and freedoms of generations to come. The history of America shows that maintaining the values, principles, and ideologies brought forth by our founding fathers has come with a high cost. Since 9/11, more than 6,000 American military personnel have lost their lives in defense of this attack on America. Thousands more have been gravely wounded. The following are the military members from the Santa Clarita Valley that have given their last full measure in defense of America. Sergeant Dean Todd, Jr., Army. Lance Corporal Richard Slocum, Marine. PFC Cole Larson, Army. Sergeant Dennis Sellen, Army. PFC Jose Ricardo Flores Mejia, Army. Specialist Stephen Colley, Army. Sergeant Michael Konak, Army. Sergeant Ian Gillig, Army. PFC Jake Suter, Marine. And Specialist Rudy Acosta, Army. Please remember this. Yes, gentlemen.
So with that, God bless our brave men and women in uniform all around the world helping keep us free. God bless America. And Tony Natoli, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Be honored. Would you please stand and follow me? Those in uniform, the right hand salute, all others, hand over your heart, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
For announcements, the first one, I got this in an email from one of our members, and I've also seen it on Yahoo. It deals with calls from a red camera light scam. You'll get a call that says you have an overdue red light camera ticket, and the only way to avoid a significant late fee or even a jail sentence would be to pay the bill right now over the phone. And if you don't pay up, there's going to be a warrant put out for your arrest. They'll ask you for your credit card information, including the security code, and possibly a billing address, date of birth, and social security number. It's a scam. Do not provide any of that information to anybody on the phone. No, none of our police agencies currently conduct business that way. The police do not use telephone calls to chase down or collect overdue fines. So if you get one of these calls, you're best off calling our sheriff's department and letting them know that our local citizens are being victimized. Next, from the last month's charts, you remember there was the historical ordinance that was on the City Council agenda for the 23rd. We were taking the position that if this is such a good deal, there ought to be an opt-in clause. People should want to join it. It was postponed. The decision was postponed. And now, I know last Sunday's paper, I have the ad here, there will be a meeting tomorrow night, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the George A. Caravallo Activity Center, 20880 Center Point Parkway they say it's in Santa Clarita 91350. Well, wait a minute. Yeah, that's Saugus, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, that's where the meeting is going to be, and if you're interested in that, and I think you should be, because it's a discussion of property rights and whether or not the city can put an extra burden on individuals' properties. The River Rally, last month we told you would be happening on September the 17th, and we were there. So here's part of our Shining River Rally team of Rick, Drew, and Merle. And the River Rally this year was quite well attended. I think significantly more than last year. And we got a significantly larger number of names that people had signed up. So we were very happy to be there. The Santa Clarita City Council would invite you to attend their city luncheon at the Hyatt Grand Ballroom. That's going to be October the 13th at 11:30 a.m. That is the State of the City luncheon. Of course, if you want to go and see this gala event, you get to pay $40 per person or buy a table for $400.
How many people at the table?
AB 438 is on the governor's desk. It passed both the halves of the legislature up in Sacramento. It establishes standards for cities or municipalities that want to privatize their libraries. It was a direct result of what happened here in Santa Clarita. And it's an example of what happens. There are many different ways that individuals can exercise their political power as just plain old community members. Sometimes it's voting against particular individuals, and sometimes it's just creating another avenue to limit what your elected officials can do. So that's where that situation is. Remember last month we asked when the city-sponsored LMD vote to combine center medians. Well, when the city sponsored an LMD vote to combine all the roadway center medians and then add new ones to offset city-funded maintenance. And they were going to come up with a citywide plan. And by the way, that citywide plan has been generated. I've asked Dennis Lupins to come and present it to us. Now it's in the hands of Mr. Hernandez, and he said he would get back with me and possibly we'll hear from them. But at the same time now, we found that this new proposal, which is I thought was the third go-round, it's now the fourth go-round, it tells a little bit different story. And so there's the major thoroughfare medians, which is Zone 1, 2008-1, and on that zone is the medians, and then there's another district that takes care of side panels, parks, paseos, all those things that they told us they couldn't do when we asked them about Whites Canyon. So, but the one interesting thing is it's a combined vote. So on this particular vote, you have people in the districts that are handling landscaping, and they are getting a large reduction. And then you have people that are being asked to opt in, join in to the median, the center median district, and they're getting a $60 increase. So the question is, aren't these two different things, and why aren't they together? Why are they being voted on as one vote? And the claim from the city was that it's too difficult to manage as two separate votes, two separate districts. So there's some process questions that need to be answered at the next city council meeting, some of which I asked last time and I didn't get an answer to. Are the funds for those different zones with different rates and different purposes, are they being intermingled? Because by Proposition 218, they should not. They should be specifically allocated against the special benefit that each one of those areas get. And then the other question is, how can all the landscape costs be reduced? Does this mean that the zones have been overcharged for the last 10, 15, 20 years? And if they have, where's the money? So the question is, if it's not, if they really haven't been overcharged, and there really is they're saying 90% people are going to get this reduction, well, who's picking up the rest of the tab, and how much is it? So we're going to ask those questions again. And this will be on the City Council agenda at the next City Council meeting. Constitution Day. First annual Constitution Day celebration was held this year. It was sponsored in part by local groups and in part by the county. The city didn't want to participate. So, but what I thought was a really neat thing, I videoed the second half of it. They had some skits going on. They had an area where people could come up and get their own copy of the Constitution and then step through different areas and get it signed by people that were represented, the original signers. And they had music by the Los Angeles Fifes and Drum Corps. And also there was a group of military masons that built the flag. They started out with a clean sheet of paper, so to speak, and then they added one stripe at a time and indicated what each one of them meant. Thought it was a very good job. But anyway, it was a great job. Wendy and Alice, who were sponsoring this and were instrumental in getting it done, are our members. Wendy tonight is at a different nonprofit group. I saw you were there, Berta, weren't you? And Berta was there, and so there was a lot of participation, and I thought it's a great thing. Hopefully this will become a yearly event. Anyway, I'm not going to give you a house update on your house is flooded. This is an un-update. The reason why it's an un-update is because I can't find my way through my house. It's full of boxes, and it's not done yet. But the real reason is it's partly due to the problems with insurance. It's partly due with, but not actually with insurance, but the fact that my claim agent changed in the middle of the job. It's partly due to the fact that the contractors that they hired had missed a lot of target dates. But it's partly self-inflicted.
Could I ask a question?
Yeah.
Will you be on that show, Buried Alive?
We all will.
Tony, you doing take care of my light work? Anyway, part of it was self-inflicted, and the part that was self-inflicted was not knowing the process and not knowing what questions to ask. So next month I will give you an update, and I will identify the contractors that I used and the major pitfalls and how to avoid them, because if you were in this situation, just by asking the right questions, and you could avoid a lot of what I'm going through, and it isn't fun at all. Here's our attendance. It's kind of bouncing around. You can see that for the last several months it's kind of been bouncing around that one little 45 mark or somewhere in there. And last month, this was our video statistics. Remember? Now, normally I don't show last month's statistics, but the reason I wanted to show last month's video statistics was I wanted to show this month's video statistics. We set a record, guys. 105 views on coyotes. And even on the second one, there were 45 views on the project at the Golden Valley and Sierra. And so if you add that with approximately 50 people that were here, so our impact that first month is 150 people. Remember, we're trying for 100. Now, I'm hoping we can keep it up there, but we'll see what happens now. But it was amazing. I couldn't believe it when I opened that up. So the videos are making a difference. All right, now do we have? It's our version of public participation. We kind of got a little confused the last meeting because we had one person who was supposed to be a featured guest speaker arrived late and missed his turn, and then started in public participation. But we really like to hold it down to about a minute, and so I'm going to have my timer running. Do we have any public participants? Where is it?
I signed up, but you covered pretty much everything.
Okay, cool.
I was going to talk about the meeting tomorrow night.
The what?
I was going to talk about the historic preservation meeting, but you covered it.
Okay. Okay, so I'll do a little public participation. One of the things that I noticed at our last council meeting was Cam Noltmeyer brought up a very interesting topic, and she brought it up during public participation then. As it turns out, she made reference to the fact that our local sanitation district just authorized $21 million for the study to build additions to the water treatment plant to help mitigate the letter that they got sent by the Regional Water Board. And I thought it was very interesting because Marcia specifically said, well, you know, when we're on the sanitation district, we're really different people. We have a different we have a different job and a different situation. But we've asked for information from them before, and they don't speak up. So what I'm going to try to do for you is between now and next month, I'm going to call down there and get minutes of that meeting, because they meet in Whittier. Very convenient place for Canyon Country residents is to meet in Whittier, and they probably meet in the middle of the day to make it even better. So we'll see what we can find out what's going on. But this tells me that if they're spending $21 million for this plan, that we're going to start hearing again about a very expensive addition to our water treatment plants. Next month, we're going to invite a lot of people to speak. Not on this list is the fact, if you remember, Paul Brotzman said that he would send somebody to talk about the corridor plan. So, it's on there. So that's the Cross Valley Connector plan. The corridor plan. So we'll check with Paul and find out if he can have someone make that meeting. Also, the LA County tax assessor was at one of the city council meetings and suggested that they want to do some public outreach to talk about what you can do if you believe your home is appraised at much higher than its current market value, and the processes that they could go through. The 5-year LMD plan is the one that I spoke about with Dennis Lupins, and I've requested that from him. He sent me to Darren Hernandez, and Darren Hernandez said that he would go check and see whether they could do that. What else is on here? Oh yeah, your home is flooded. We'll see what happens there. And we want to talk about the Cross Valley Connector East Side Construction Completion Plan. That includes the road from Center Point Business Park east to to Highway 14 and over Highway 14 to the new shopping center. Now, there were plans that had been accomplished, had been funded for that. I understand that those plans had come back to the city. Now they're trying to determine where funding is going to come from. At one point, we were told the funding came completely from the shopping center construction, but now we found out that Pardee also provides money into that plan, and that there's been $21 million of, I believe, county bridge and thoroughfare district money that has been moved to support Highway 126, and I'll make sure that we find out whether that includes any of our city bridge and thoroughfare money, which I don't believe it does. So we should have a lot of interesting topics, and we'll make sure to keep you appraised of what we're going to talk about. But even though Tony tore up my applause sign, thanks, guys. And I'm looking forward to seeing you here again next month for the.
Now, you know, this is a very commemorative day, if you think about it. This is 1 year today. Of course, you've been doing this all your life, and you're kind of annoying too. But the city does a lot of things that don't make sense. They say a lot of things that just don't add up. You know, if it wasn't for this man here, we wouldn't be here. CCAC wouldn't be here doing what we're doing. He brings about sanity, he brings about motivation, and he inspires us all. Before I toss the sign, I'd like to one more time use it in honor of Alan Ferdman.
Thank you, Tony. Well, thank you very much, and thank you for attending, and we'll see you back here next month.